G'day, how are you going? I am Mr. Poulos, Head Director and Head of Classics here at Shakespeare Academy, and today we are looking at Cicero's first speech against Catiline, which he delivered in 63 BC. There's plenty of information about the Catiline conspiracy elsewhere, so I'm not going to talk about that, but what I am going to talk about is Cicero's Latin. I'm going to help you a bit with translation and commentary as we look through one of the best roasts in history. Okay, so let's start. We start with this sentence: "Co usque tandem abutere Catilina patentia nostra." So abutere here is second person singular future, and it is a deponent verb which takes an ablative. So we're looking for an ablative, and we've got one here at the end of the sentence: patentia nostra. So usually you'll have a verb at the end of the sentence, but here Cicero has put patentia nostra for a bit of emphasis, and we'll see how he does this throughout the first section as well. In the second sentence here, quam do go together, so quam is an adverb, and then you've also got this emphatic furor iste, that madness of yours. Iste usually has a hint of contempt in Cicero, and we'll see another one of these very soon. In the next sentence, we have quam ad finem, to what end is probably a good way of putting that. Sese here is an emphatic form of the reflexive pronoun, and we have this nice phrase here: effrenata jactabit. So you might say boasting is a way of putting it. And then our last word of the sentence, audacia. Audacia is one thing which most Romans would not want to be accused of. Usually audacia is something anti-Roman, and this might be why Cicero has put it at the end of the sentence here for that special punch. Moving on, you'll see we've got this next sentence which is a bit longer than the ones we've had so far, and it's got some interesting things going on in it. The first thing you probably noticed is this: the nihil, 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 and so on. The anaphora there. So anaphora is when you have a word repeated at the start of phrases or lines or sentences. And the nihil here is adverbial accusative. It's a stronger form of non. It is all modifying moerent. All of those nihils are modifying moerent. You might also notice here that we have an asyndeton. So there is no conjunction between any of the subjects. So praesidium, vigiliae, timor, and so on. No conjunctions at all, so that is an asyndeton. Another interesting thing is the bonorum omnium. They apply to the senators, obviously. This phrase here is a little bit tricky. The minutissimus habendi senatus locus. So we have here a gerundive, habendi senatus, with this, you might say, genitive of object, very strangely, but it sometimes happens with gerundives. So the most defensible place of holding the Senate, maybe for holding the Senate, might be a way of putting it in nice English. And then we've got the aura, which literally means mouths or faces. So we'd use it here as a synecdoche, I would say, especially with vultus. So in addition to the synecdoche, we have an hendiadys here, two words for the one meaning, so the expressions of the faces, you might say. Moving on to the next sentence, we have our first example of indirect discourse, starting with the non sentis, and then we've got the tua concilia, which is our accusative subject in indirect discourse, partere. I like that at the front there. Lying open all of your plans, something like that. We've got another indirect discourse in the next clause with the non vides, and then scientia as an ablative here. Watch out for that. Then in our last sentence, we've got a couple of interesting things as well. So arbitraris is a deponent verb, so watch out for that one. And then we've got these verbs: ageris, fueris, convocaris, and caperis. These are all perfect subjunctives, and they're in the subjunctive because they're part of an indirect question, but you should translate them as perfect indicative. Ageris is from ago, by the way, in case you are wondering. So that is all of the first section of Cicero's first speech of In Catilinam. If you want more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. And if you want more help with your classics or your English, join us at shakespeareacademy.com.au.